I have gone through a lot with family. I have lost a friend to suicide. I've lost one to a car accident recently. A lot of my family doesn't approve of me.
In ninth grade, my parents got divorced, and that was pretty hard. And that's kind of around the time when I started like sloughing school and stuff.
So I've dealt with the struggles of addiction and seeing a family member battle addiction, going through a tough time with drugs and alcohol and things like that.
I basically dropped out my junior year and my sophomore year. Just didn't really find school all that important to me and just didn't really care for school.
I was being abused at home, so I left and I was homeless. Then I was put into a treatment facility, and I was there for 5 months, and it was the hardest thing I ever had to do.
We know you have struggles in your life, but we may not know all the details.
We don't know everything.
Although sometimes we act like we do.
We don't know the pains that you guys have to bear, both physically and emotionally.
Depression, ADHD, anxiety.
Even though we don't know everything you are going through, we do understand struggle because we've had our own.
When I was your age, I had to deal with a couple of things. One of them was depression. That made me hide. It made me stay away from people. I didn't want to be around others, and it made me very limited in my friends.
When I was in elementary school and junior high, I was bullied a lot, and that was a very difficult thing for me because number one, it affected obviously how I felt about myself, but it also affected my ability to trust other people.
They sent me to the University of Utah to finish my studies, and they invited me to prepare a conference about what was my research about. Well, the night came and I started with these words, good night. Then everybody laughed at me and I feel so bad, so frustrated, then I just couldn't say a word.
I lost my mom when I was 29 years old. We were very, very close, and it really rocked my world. I went through a period of time where I really struggled with life in general.
Growing up, I had social anxiety really bad. In a school setting, if I was called on in class, it would make me physically ill, and it would literally bring me to tears if I was forced to talk in front of people.
So I've struggled for a long time with family relationships and hopelessness. My parents got a divorce when I was 12, and my stepfamily and I never really got along. And throughout, while I was growing up, it led me down a really dark path.
Some really neat things happened. One is I got some supportive therapy. Another thing I did was I went on medication for a little while, and that's not weird or crazy. Medication is there to help you. And then the last thing I've done, and I've done that super recently, and that is just getting a healthy lifestyle intact.
I had really worked during high school to get over this complex that I developed about worrying about what other people said to me or what they would do to me. It really is important that I'm happy with myself, that I'm happy with what I'm doing with my life, and that in the end, that was the most important thing. And I had control of that, and I didn't need to let other people control my life or my situation.
My plan was don't say anything, maybe go back to Mexico. However, my teacher told me, hey, come back and you face this problem because you need to overcome all the problems that eventually you're going to have in your life.
And I was able to channel my grief into being a better teacher, into being a better human, into listening to people's stories with more empathy. I fought through some of my grief, and now it's less of a whole and more of a facet of my personality. It doesn't ever get better, but it gets different.
I still have social anxiety. It didn't just go away, and there's still many things that I struggle with and that I don't know how to overcome yet. But I am more successful than I used to be, and I put myself in situations where I can find success and do well.
Throughout all this, I started reading a lot, and reading particularly fantasy books and books about heroes, because there was one theme that helped me survive, and that was that heroes don't quit, and that you can get knocked down, and no matter how hard it is and what people say and what people do, that the difference between a hero and a normal person is that the hero will get up and keep going regardless of how bad it hurts.